Welcome to English Literature Poetry class for class 12. Today we are going to study the first poem in your book, The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. Poem, let us know something about the poet. Thomas Hardy belonged to Victorian era. He was born in 1840 in England and died in 1928. He was one of the most prolific English novelists and poets of the late 19th century. He was deeply influenced by Romanticism. Romanticism here means nature and love poetry. See here, students, that the other romantic poets of Victorian era were, like for example, William Wordsworth, Keats, Byron. He was one among them. His literally works like The Mayor of Casterbridge, Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Jude the Obscure criticized the Victorian England and touched upon the unhappiness in people's life. To summarize, I would say that most of his works show the concern about the social and moral things of the Victorian era. Now, about the poem. This poem, Darkling Thrush, it was originally it was titled as The Century's Deathbed. Okay, and it was included in the collection Poems of the Past and Present. Knowing the poem in detail, let us know what is all about in this poem. This poem was written when 19th century was about to end, that is in December. And till that time, people had deep faith in the religion and Almighty God. But as soon as Charles Darwin theory of evolution, if you see here, students, you can see on your screen Charles Darwin theory of evolution, which said that man who believed that he was an image of a God, but the theory said that no, the human beings were not the image of God, but they were rather after effect of evolution. He said that. So that means what? There was a clash. Those who believed in the image of God, and he said that he proved his theory that there was an after effect of evolution. So what was the result of it? The result was that the significance and dignity of man was equated to nothing. Okay, then comes the point as he wrote. So he was totally depressed by this. He wrote this poem to lament the end of the 19th century at that time. The modern next, what happened, what he was thinking, that with the invention of this theory as well as with the beginning of the 20th century, he thought that the modern age was characterized by the lack of respect for human life. Due to that time, the wars between the countries were going on, and those wars made the decline in the moral and the social values of the people. So he was deeply worried what would happen. When such type of thoughts were going in his mind, suddenly he hears a song of a songbird, that is in the poem as thrush, which spread the warmth and hope into the earlier desolate and dead landscape. He marvels at it. Marvels means he wonders what is the reason that when everywhere it is desolate, okay, ghastly atmosphere, what is the reason that this in the first paragraph they have described that uh, it's the described the landscape atmosphere there. Now if you see in the picture, a person is standing at the gate. What is this wooden gate? That is a Kopais gate. We can say wooden gate is Kopais gate, and this symbolizes that Thomas Hardy is standing at the gate. We can't use the word as standing. Here it's written leant. Leant means leaning. That he is leaning upon a gate which opens onto the woods. That is the forest there. Okay. So what does it suggest? This poem is a very symbolic poem. Everywhere you will find the symbolism here. The gate. Gate means gate is suggestive of new place and a new century. As I told you earlier that the poet is lamenting on the death, on the end of the 19th century. So these are the last hours of the 19th century going on. The speaker is leaning upon a Kopais gate, that is a wooden gate that opens into the woods, that is a forest. Okay, so the gateway is suggestive of a new place and a new century. And what is the condition? The leaning. What is leaning suggest? Okay, leaning means bending when you take support of something and then you stand. Leaning suggests that the speaker is tired and dejected. Okay, and where is the speaker right now? He's not at the home. He is outside on a barren landscape. You can see in the picture also nobody is around. Okay, everywhere the grayish, the snowish, the grayish part it shows the barren landscape. And what is the time? Since it is the towards the end of the century, that is December time, and it's very wintry, frosty evening. Okay, and all around the frost is there, so that has made the landscape as spectre gray. It has made the landscape has made. This is the fifth and sixth line is a simile there. And next the poet says, and all mankind that haunted nigh. He says that all the humans who were earlier used to be near by or outside their homes, now where have they gone? They had sought their household fires. They have sought their household fires due to the wintry season. They have gone back to their houses near to the fire. Okay, in their warm houses. Now next what it says that so the world appears to be. So what we can conclude from the first stanza we can say that the world appears to be bleak. Bleak means not hopeful, not encouraging, colorless and cold place with a few memories. He has only the speaker has few memories of the melody and warmth that have vanished now. So this is making the speaker depressed and tired, and that is why he is leaning on the Kopais gate. I told you there in the beginning that if at present it is winter, in the spring behind. So notes of the poem cannot be shown everything here, but I think so you must have well understood it. The themes of the poem, mainly two themes of the poem are there: man versus nature. What is our nature, what we are doing, and what does the nature show us. And second is perseverance. Perseverance means even if you fail in life, even if you don't find something good in your life, but you should not lose hope. Rather, you should again keep on working. This is called perseverance. Even in despite of many failures, don't get bothered, don't feel disheartened by the your failures. Rather, keep on doing your work. Okay, so certain keywords I have shown on this slide, and students, please note down each and everything. It's this poem is, again I am repeating many things in the poem, that it's everything is suggestive of certain thing or symbolizes something. Let's take a recap of the whole. The first paragraphs: a dreary and dismal winter day. Dreary means which makes you frightened, like the spectre grey, na? Second thing is the grey and grimy rainfall, the snowfall and all. Third, the vegetation around, symbolic of death and destruction. Symbolic of death and destruction. The vine trees, they looked like the broken strings of lyre. Next, the features on land matched with corpses, canopy and all, like the image of isolation when nobody is around. Okay, men have taken place sheltered in their warm houses. They are not bothered about anyone else. Okay, next, a cloudy canopy looks like the tomb for the world. So, next, the lamentation of the wind, the blowing of the wind is a funeral song, like all seemed to be shattered and disillusioned in that. But the tone changes. Out of the pall of gloom, the speaker hears a joyful evening song. And he looks at the bird and says that the singer is a frail, old, and tiny bird. That is a thrush. Now, the thrush song symbolizes hope for the next century. Okay, students, I have tried to make this poem simple for you. Note down the notes. Have a good day.